So you're about to sell your house in the spring of 2023, and the market's still a little bit volatile. In Silicon Valley area, Bay Area of California, we are still seeing multiple offers when the house is in the top location, top school district, it's all remodeled, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about that in other videos. But what if your house is kind of middle of the road? It's a decent school district, it's updated, but maybe not in the last couple of years. And you still really want to sell it for as much as you can and as fast as you can. The kiss of death is a house that sits on the market. I'm telling you, don't be that homeowner. So I'm going to talk about 3 things you could do to make your house stand out from others that really have nothing to do with how your house looks. But when you stand out from the crowd, buyers will want to go to your house over these other houses or the other competitors if you listen, take some of these tips. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Stick around. Hey, I'm Annie Baker. I'm back with 3 tips how you can make your house stand out when it's on the market and the market's a little volatile. Buyers are being more cautious. Interest rates are higher than they've been in, 20, 30 years. Buyers are just being much more cautious. So even though we're still seeing multiple offers and great sale prices, how could you make your house stand out from the competition? Number 1 tip, when you have your home and pest inspections done prior to listing, get everything repaired. First of all, it's less expensive to do it before you put it on the market. If a buyer does request those repairs while you're in escrow, you are required to use a licensed contractor. Sometimes they even get to tell you who they want you to use, and you have no control over the cost. So if you get everything done, I'm talking even if it asks for the house to be tented, do it. Get out of your house for a couple days. Think of it as the calm before the storm. Have a little 3 or 4 day vacation and have everything done. If you have a good realtor, they're gonna have an awesome handyman, someone they trust that they know will do a good job, and you can have everything repaired for a lot less than what the inspection companies will even estimate the cost be. So then when buyers are interested, you say, hey, everything's fixed from the pest and home inspections. Your realtor will use that as a selling tool. Okay, they'll have it loud and clear for all to see. So if a buyer's looking at a house similar to yours, similar price range, but everything's done, that could be a swing of about $10,000 or more dollars, depending on if you have to have the house tented or if you had that much wrong. But still, that's a huge bonus to a buyer, so they might think twice about that. Number 2, what about offering to pay some of the buyer's closing costs? So I always tell my buyers to expect around 1% in closing costs of whatever the purchase price is. It's usually never that high, but they'll have costs for their, loan, assuming they have a loan. They have their own title and escrow fees. They have, depending on what city it is, sometimes you split transfer fees with the seller. So round numbers, you're selling a $1.5 million house, that's around probably $10,000 to $12,000 for them in closing costs. $2 million house, probably closer to $16,000. Okay, so maybe you don't want to throw in all their closing costs, but why not offer to pay half the buyer's closing costs? It's probably going to be $10,000 or less. That will make a huge difference to a buyer when they're looking at how much they have to put down. What's their deposit, their down payment to buy this house. And if you're offering a $10,000 swing right off the bat, I'm telling you, if it were me, I might really lean heavily towards that house versus another house. It's an incentive, people. Number 3 tip, what about offering to buy down the buyer's interest rate on their loan? Okay, interest rates are really volatile. They're higher than they've been in a long time. Lenders always provide that as an option to buyers. Well, a good lender will provide that as an option to a buyer when they're giving them a quote what their loan rate will be, what the interest rate will be. And you might say, hey, if you want to buy it down, a quarter of a point, it's X amount of dollars. You want to buy it down half a point, it's this much money. Why not talk to a lender, say, hey, if a buyer came to my house, was putting 20% down, this is their loan amount, what would their, general interest rate be? How much would it cost to buy that rate down for them? Okay, again, let's just go with 10, maybe $15,000, but round numbers, let's go with 10. Your realtor puts that in the listing. Seller is offering to pay $10,000 towards buying the buyer's loan interest rate down. I'd be all about that. That's going to save the buyer monthly for at least a year, depending on how long the buy down rate is worked for. But that could save them thousands of money. Again, you're giving an incentive right out the gates that people are going to be like, whoa, these people are serious. And then guess what? More than likely, you'll probably get more than one buyer interested. You'll probably get a higher sale price because of that buyer competition. You'll more than make up that credit that you were offering. It's not that common in this area in Silicon Valley. You don't see very many seller incentives right out of the gates. Usually it's like if the house has been on the market 30 days, now the house is starting to stink a little. People don't like houses that sit. So then sellers are throwing anything at buyers to get them interested, dropping the prices really low. You know, you'll see some incentives sometimes. Usually it's just a big price drop. If you're doing it out of the gates, people are going to be fired up. It'll make your house stand out more than the others. I hope those tips are going to help you. And if you have any real estate questions, never hesitate to reach out on my contacts below. So until next time, have a great one.